He never killed anyone with his own hands. No gun, no knife, just words. And yet, by the end of the summer of 1969, his voice had turned ordinary people into murderers, and an entire era into a crime scene. This is the story of Charles Manson, and how belief became a weapon. Welcome to Dark Files, where we uncover the truth that hides behind the world's darkest minds. Don't forget to subscribe, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's a warning. In the late 1960s, the United States was living through chaos and change. The Vietnam War raged on, protests filled the streets, and the youth of America were searching for freedom and meaning. It was the era of peace, love, and rebellion, but also confusion and vulnerability. And in the middle of this storm appeared a man who would twist those dreams into something nightmarish. His name was Charles Manson. Charles Mills Manson was born on November 12, 1934, in Cincinnati, Ohio. His mother was only 16 when she had him, and his father disappeared before he was even born. His childhood was unstable, marked by poverty, neglect, and crime. He spent his youth drifting from one reform school to another, learning manipulation, charm, and survival the hard way. By the time he was 32, Manson had spent more than half his life in institutions. When he was finally released from prison in 1967, he entered a world that seemed tailor-made for him. The counterculture was at its height, young people rejecting authority, seeking spiritual freedom, and experimenting with new ideas. Manson arrived in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury district with a guitar, a hypnotic gaze, and a strange ability to draw people in. He spoke of peace, love, and freedom, words that resonated deeply with the lost and the lonely. But behind his gentle tone lay something much darker. Manson quickly gathered a group of followers, mostly young women, who became known as the Family. They saw him not as a man, but as a kind of prophet, a teacher who promised salvation and belonging. He preached about the end of the world, claiming a coming race war that he called Helter Skelter, inspired by a Beatles song. To him, the lyrics of that song were secret messages predicting chaos and rebirth. He told his followers that when this great war came, they would be the chosen survivors who would rebuild the world. By 1968, the Family had moved to an abandoned movie ranch outside Los Angeles. There, away from the outside world, Manson's influence became absolute. He controlled their lives, their emotions, even their thoughts. Drugs, isolation, and psychological manipulation blurred the line between reality and his twisted vision. Manson played the role of both savior and dictator, teaching that death was merely an illusion, and that violence could be justified in the name of change. But Manson's dream of fame still haunted him. He wanted to be a rock star. He had even met producer Terry Melcher, a music executive who lived in a house at 10,050 Cielo Drive, a house that would later become infamous. When Melcher refused to sign him, Manson's frustration grew into rage. He began to speak of starting Helter Skelter himself, to ignite the chaos he had predicted. On the night of August 8, 1969, Manson ordered 4 of his followers, Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian, to go to the house where Melcher had once lived and destroy everyone there. But Melcher no longer lived there. The new tenant was actress Sharon Tate, 8 months pregnant, and her friends. That night, the Manson family murdered Tate and 4 others. The next night, they killed again, Lino and Rosemary LaBianca, chosen at random. The murders shocked America. They weren't just acts of violence. They were a mirror held up to the dark side of the 1960s, a time that claimed to be about peace and love had given birth to something monstrous. The words Helter Skelter were found scrawled in blood at one of the crime scenes, a message that terrified the nation. When Manson and his followers were arrested, The world watched in disbelief. In court, they smiled, sang songs, and carved X's into their foreheads to show their loyalty to him. Manson didn't need to lift a weapon. His words had been enough. He was a manipulator, a cult leader, and in many ways a reflection of the chaos that had consumed a generation. The trial lasted 9 months, one of the longest in American history. Prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi argued that Manson had orchestrated the murders to incite the race war he had predicted. On January 25, 1971, Manson and several of his followers were found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. They were sentenced to death, later changed to life imprisonment. Manson spent the rest of his life behind bars, giving bizarre interviews and maintaining his claim that he never ordered anyone to kill. He became a cultural icon of evil, appearing in songs, films, and books. He died in 2017 at the age of 83. Charles Manson wanted to start a revolution. Instead, he exposed how fragile freedom can be. His followers called him a prophet, but history remembers him as a warning. Thank you for watching Dark Files. If the shadows of history fascinate you, like, share, and subscribe. Because every week, we uncover another truth hidden in the dark.